Hello campers, I have a new offering announcement, so I'm very excited. I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. I'm releasing a new offering that is called Shadow Work Playbook, and it's your ultimate guide to self-shadow work, to the journey of self-discovery, healing, however you want to call it. We all know that ultimately it's just labels. So I want to break this down to you. What are you getting within this playbook and what is the part of the package? So if you purchase a package, you are getting two things. One is the actual playbook, so the PDF document, and I'm going to walk you through it, what's in it in a moment, so you actually know what you're getting. And you're also getting a video chat with me. Obviously, if you don't feel like it, we don't have to do it, but it's an option that is part of the package to raise any questions, any concerns. Once you review your playbook, maybe there are concepts that you're not fully understanding, maybe you need a little advice on how to get started. The chat is not an actual session, so it's not an actual session as you see, for example, in my collective. So I'm not going to be channeling, I'm not going to be reading into your energy, we're not going to be doing cards. It's a sort of a video chat, coaching chat to help you get started, because there's a lot of complex, deeper, crucial concepts within the playbook. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to actually ask your questions if there's anything that is not that you're not understanding fully, or maybe you feel like you've read all the information and you understand it, but you don't really know how to get started. Okay, so let's walk you through. I have it here in front of me. Let's walk you through what it actually contains. So the first section is a really in-depth introduction into the world of shadow work. So what actually shadow work is, how do we do it, how do on our own can we do our shadow work to actually tap into our shadows and integrate our shadows, what is the purpose, what is the objective of shadow work. And you are getting a little navigation map for your own shadow work. The actual moment when we do shadow work, if you already know anything about shadow work, if you watch me, yes, it's recommendable to go to your sessions. Yes, it's recommendable to have some regular practices. But in reality, the actual work happens the moment of trigger, the moment that emotion arises. This is where we have to deal with it. So I've created a little navigation map for you. The moment you are triggered, the moment you feel that little bit of an emotional imbalance, and you're feeling in a way that it's a little uncomfortable, what do you do then? How do you sit down with yourself? What question do you ask yourself? What actions and practices can you do to actually walk yourself through it and through that emotion? I've included as well a couple of my favorite shadow work practices. So if you're someone that you come to me on sessions you've been coming to me on shadow work sessions for a while, you probably already know some of these exercises, but I've included my 4 favorite exercises to help you with your shadow work. Then there's another section that dives into a couple of important concepts that I feel like in order to really be successful on your journey of healing, self-understanding, shadow work, again, however you want to call it, you really need to grasp these concepts. You really need to familiarize yourself with these concepts, feel into and embody these concepts. There are 3 key concepts that I am talking about. One is around human existence, including the illusion of separation and the wholeness of human existence. The next one is the pattern versus choice, sort of unboxing of the concept of what's a pattern, what's a choice, and why we actually do the shadow work to break the pattern, right? And to be free within the choices that we actually make. And finally, there are a couple of concepts that I feel they're very important to understand, which is the concept of projection, mirroring, triggering, and shifting. So you'll know all about it from the playbook. And then the next section dives into the core wounds that we all carry within. I always highlight this to you guys. All humans, to a certain extent, to some of us it's going to be bigger, to some of us it's going to be smaller. We all carry these wounds. It's part of the game, it's part of the program, it's part of the system. We would really have to be raised by divine feminine mother, divine feminine, divine masculine father in divine union not to carry some of these wounds. And some of them the society would still inject within us. So we're going to walk through all these core wounds. So we have mother wound, father wound, abandonment wound, rejection wound, worthiness wound, betrayal wound, and there's another section that also talks about healer wound, injustice wound, and sister wound. Incredibly important to address for my feminines. We all have a sister wound, so it's to a certain extent again. So you're going to find descriptions of these wounds to, in a very simple way, understand, bottom line, what these wounds are about. There's a little mention of inner child and childhood traumas aspect that it's important to understand as well. And then there's a deeper dive into the mother wound and the father wound, because it all really starts with the mother wound. The father wound, it's because there are two building blocks of our existence, the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And the disruption within these energies actually causes that we are imbalanced internally. We are not in the state of yin and yang and a wholeness and a collaboration of these two energies with each other. So we're going to dive deeper into that concept, not just mother wound and father wound, but also masculine energy and feminine energy. And then in the next section you have a little emotion to wounds mapping. So I've listed out good couple of emotions and how they tie into these wounds that we just mentioned. So when the emotion arises, you can actually feel into okay, so it may be tied to that wound, and it may help you navigate your self-understanding process. Because understanding emotion is so important, as part of this package, I'm also offering you a discount for my Oracle decks. I specifically, if you follow me, you would know, I specifically created an Oracle deck that is a shadow work working deck, a rhythm of emotions, and it's a deck that has 100 emotions, 50 on the side of light, 50 on the side of shadow, and each card explains how this emotion is embodied when it is on the side of light and shadow. So if you feel like you need more information and go deeper, it's something that you can purchase as well, and with that package you're going to get a little discount if that resonates. And then we have a section that talks about wounds, so our traumas, and energy points. So how our inner world, our wounds, our traumas, our emotions actually tie into our chakra system, our energy points, and our energy body. So I've also sort of linked key emotional blockages for every chakra point, some wounds and some blockages that tie into specific chakra points, so we can have a bit of a better understanding. And then the final section talks about a holistic approach to healing. So given my knowledge, my downloads, my experience, what is the best way to approach healing. So this is where I break down sort of certain elements that we can introduce into our life as we talk about healing. One being exactly shadow work, core inner work, and then energy healing, some spiritual practices, and certain things that are very helpful for our expansion further along the way of this journey. And I've also included a couple of links and materials because I've been creating content for a while now. I have a variety of content about shadow work, self-discovery, wounds. So I've linked a couple of videos or playlists that are available free on my YouTube in case you want to expand your knowledge in certain areas of topics that we've been talking about and we're going to talk about in this playbook, and a couple of spiritual practices that I also recommend that are a great complement to your shadow work. So yes, if in case you're wondering who is this playbook for, I've created it so it is literally for anyone. If you are someone who feels I want to start working on myself, maybe you've done therapy, it didn't work for you because unfortunately therapy can be a beautiful thing to do, especially if you find an amazing open-minded therapist, but it focuses on the issue of the mind. When we talk about spiritual therapy, which is shadow work, we focus holistically on the mind, on the soul, on the body, on the journey of lifetimes that we go through. So if you feel like maybe therapy didn't work for you, or maybe you were wanting to start shadow work but you still feel a little intimidated to go for sessions, or maybe you just feel like you don't need sessions but you want to do it on your own, or maybe you already are on sessions, maybe even with me, but you feel like you need a little more of an extended guidebook, what to do on an everyday basis, how to deal with things, to dive deeper into certain topics, to have them in sort of a one compact playbook, because you want to have a better quality life, you want to find peace, you want to understand yourself better, you want to integrate all parts of your psyche. This is exactly for you. So like I said, my recommendation, and I've mentioned this in the playbook, is for you to, if you purchase it, to go through it, sleep on it, feel into it, give yourself some time, and then if there is still things that you've maybe written down as you were going through it, you didn't fully understand, you don't know how to put in practice, reach out to me. We're going to schedule that session that is part of the package. We're going to sit down together and we're going to have a little conversation how you can get started on your self shadow work, on your self work. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. If you're interested, a link is in my bio. There's a link to my website, and from my website you're going to see a new offering, and you can click on that, and it will take you to Etsy store where where it's available. So if you purchase it on Etsy, you just click the link and you will receive the PDF playbook immediately. It will be downloaded into your device. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts before purchasing or deciding to purchase, feel free to message me, feel free to drop me an email, and yeah, I really hope it will help you on your journey of self-understanding, of understanding yourself. Through understanding yourselves, we understand others, and I really, really deeply believe that it's the only way to improve the quality of our life, to not to escape the self-perpetuating suffering loops of, prison of our mind, of our shadows, of subconscious pattern that we don't even understand, why we think, why we say, why we do certain things, but to become truly free within the freedom of your spirit, to live this life peacefully, blissfully, in a fulfilling, beautiful, amazing way. That is ultimately what I do. That is ultimately what I try to help you guys with. And I understand that taking a decision to start doing shadow work and in actual sessions can be intimidating, because it's actually having another person in front of you who's your shadow worker, who will read your energy, who will be the mirror of those shadows. So I know that many of you guys, before you sign up for a session, you sometimes watch me for a very long time. Sometimes you DM me, you ask certain things. It's an intimidating thing for some. And until you take that decision, if you ever take that decision, I wanted to create a tool for you so you can start doing it in the comfort of your own home, and maybe you will never take that decision, so that will definitely help you. And again, if you watch me, you would know that ultimately I will always say that to ever be fully successful in your shadow work endeavors, it is necessary to sign up for a session. For some, it's going to be literally a session every 2 weeks for a year or two or a couple of years. For others, you're going to be on a different path, so you may need one session every 3-4 months, and that will be okay, and that will help you out. But unfortunately, and I explained this to you guys, always our shadows, because of the natures of the shadows, because they live in a subconscious mind, because we shame them, because of the conditioning of the world that we live in, they are tricksters. They operate on a frequency of denial. They always convince us that they are somehow part of light, and it's a concept that I've covered in my oracle deck. So doing self-shadow work, it's beautiful, it's very helpful, but there's always going to be something that we're going to deny, that we're going to miss, that we're not going to realize. So having that person who is an expert, whose life's mission is to do shadow work in front of you, to hold you accountable, to guide you, to hold that torch of light in front of you, it is very, very, very helpful. So I would say that a minimum one session for some people to actually read into deeper levels and deeper layers of your energy. However, like I said, I've created this tool for those of you who will never come on session, for those of you who want to but are still intimidated, for those of you who are already doing sessions, to have your playbook in between, to know how to deal with your shadows. All right, I'm going to stop rambling. You guys know that I'm a blah, 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 blah. There's no stopping me when I get started. So yeah, I hope you're going to love it. I hope you're going to find it useful. I created it from the bottom of my heart, channeled as always, everything that a person needs to know to help themselves on that beautiful self-discovery journey.